All right. All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Coming at you with some Walking Dead Season 9. The second half is here, and it's been too damn long. It's also been too damn long since this mother trucker's been on with me. Mr. CM Styles is joining me this evening. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a draining weekend. A lot of stuff happening in my world right now, a lot of positive stuff. So I'm trying to keep that rolling, keep the momentum flowing, and can't wait to talk about some Walking Dead.
Awesome, man. You said that you recently had something very positive happen to you on another, we'll call it website. Why don't you go ahead and do a little bragging? Give you the floor for a minute.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I just got affiliated on the other site. I guess we'll call it Twitch. But
don't say it too loud because YouTube don't like that shit. But go ahead.
Yeah, cheap plug. But yeah, tonight I got the go ahead to get paid by Twitch and do my thing and advertise games and play them and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, that's the positive reinforcement right there that I've been looking for years.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, man. So, are you? Where can they view you on Twitter? And they can, because I'm sure you're going to put a link up and start promoting this sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm going to be promoting everything on Twitter here real soon. You can find me at Styles Gaming 81. Been using that name for almost a year and a half now, and you can find me on. Well, I'm not even going to promote the the channel yet. I don't want to violate guidelines. So, but you can find me on Twitter, Styles Gaming 81, and from there you can find all the details, the 411, everything.
There you go. Awesome, man. Congrats again. Let's dive into this, dude. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 9. And wow, it's great to have some Walking Dead back on TV. And I watch so much wrestling and do so much other stuff while this is TV. When you start watching it again, do you watch it and start forgetting names of people, or is that just me because I'm an old?
Well, you're old, but no, just kidding.
I'll take it. I'll own it.
Well, good. Someone's gonna have to, because I'm catching up. But they're the main characters, Rick, well, not even Rick, because Rick's not even there anymore. Thanks a lot, Scott Gimple. You have Daryl, you have Michonne, you have Judith, you have Carol, you start to forget everyone else's name because they're not memorable enough. It's pretty sad that we're going down that route with these characters. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else we have. Henry, Sadiq, and then you have Magna, and that's as many people as I can remember right now. And that's coming from a guy who reads the comics. My memory's just so shot.
And that's specifically why I went live Dead, because I'm like, okay, if I watch The Talking Dead, they're going to go over all these little points, and I can take another set of notes and fill in the blanks on my own stuff. while I'm doing this, because then I'm gonna be like, hey, that one guy did that one thing in the episode with that one thing, and I won't sound like a complete effing idiot. Overall, dude, your thoughts on this, just general thoughts on this episode. How did it feel? Did you enjoy it? Did it feel like a great start to the second half of season 9? What do you think?
Now, I will be honest, I did miss bits and pieces because of what I had going on for me. I was setting up some account details. But from what I did see, this episode brought back it brought back everything the show has been missing for the last 2 seasons. Introducing the whispers for starters, which I could not wait to talk about. I spoiled the whispers 2 seasons ago in the show. He's seeing them, seeing Negan, how he's been becoming during this post-apocalyptic fallout, more like the all-out war fallout. Trying to think what else there was just so much in what was it? It was an hour and 15-minute show tonight, so there was a lot of stuff that we had to cover.
I think the surprising stuff was, and I honestly think the best part of it, I mean, the encounter with the Whisperers and taking this new character, Lydia, hostage,
Yes,
was tremendous. But for me personally, the highlight was the interaction between Judith, Negan, and watching Negan on the outside.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty entertaining. In the comics, there is no Judith anymore. Judith died at the prison with Lori.
Yeah, so that's
right now is supposed to be Carl.
Oh, so Carl in the comic book had action with Negan.
But the thing is, what we saw today or tonight in the comic on the TV show didn't exactly happen in the comic book. What happened was this part of the season, a group that came in to help out Rick and the gang, one of the guys let Negan out, and Negan ended up killing him in the process after they escaped. But you won't see that in the show because he got out on his own free will, thanks to Father Gabriel. What was that? The last half of this season, and trying to think how to put this, because I that's all I really got for that. But I'm comparing the comics to the TV show way too much here, trying to put everything together.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's okay. And that's why I like having you on here with me, because you have a different perspective of it as something. It's like you've seen all this before, or another version of it. And so then you're seeing it again come to life.
Yes, seeing it come to life is completely different. It's really organic. Just seeing Negan out on his own and Judith sparing his life.
Yeah,
that's the same thing that Carl would have done in the comic because of their bond. And I think that's where this is going to come into play. Where does their bond stand?
I mean, that really blew me away. I mean, we knew from the previews, hey, Mr. Fretz is in the chat. What is up? Stopping by and saying hello. You don't watch The Walking Dead, but you wanted to drop by and say hello. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, we saw by the previews that we knew got out, and then they show him in the preview to this half of the season with him walking into sanctuary. Had to see, that's another thing. I'm like, hey, he got back home. What the hell did they call that again? Oh yes, they show him walking into the sanctuary and doing the whistling, and that's like the end of the preview to this season. So it's like, oh God, what is going on? So in your head, knowing Negan and how evil he is, you've got this whole preconceived notion of what he's going to do on the outside, and then seeing what actually happens in this episode is just, dude, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, he seriously deserves an Emmy for this episode. It's almost, I want to compare it to watching. See, I don't know if this makes sense. The first thing that popped in my head was watching Will Smith in Legend.
I Am Legend. Oh yeah.
I Am Legend. Excuse me. Yes. Legend. That was a Tom Cruise movie from like 1983 or something. Completely different. Because the dialogue, I should say, lack of dialogue was interesting from Negan's standpoint. He did so many things in this episode, and watching him react to this world 6 years later, and like they said in The Talking Dead, he's been in this 10-pound cell for 6 years. So he's reintroducing himself to the outside world for the first time and entering walkers, going back to the sanctuary, running into walkers that he was affiliated with 6 years ago that were part of this thing. It was, who was that? Big Richie, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And he even had a hard time him down because it was someone he knew. I mean, Negan's really changed. What are your thoughts on him and this whole being out? We'll get to the re-encounter with Judith in a second, but just him in the outside world. What did you think about all that?
Him in the outside world, I thought was pretty good. You know, it's not a backstory about him anymore. It's about it's about the future of Negan. Will we see change? And I think we will, because he showed a whole lot of emotion, with the loss of his saviors, and it pained him to kill the ones that were out in the little garden there in front of the sanctuary. But it hurt him even more trying not to kill the one guy. And of course, he was like, sorry about our broken relationship or something like that, and he finally put him down to rest. Yeah, I'll be honest, it was a tearjerker. I think Negan's going to become a better man, and I think he's going to become a new leader in this this war that we have coming ahead of us here in the next few seasons.
Honestly, I'm really kind of wondering how much longer he's going to last. To be honest, one thing that I know that Mrs. J-Bone is very excited about is, or I should say, he's going to reprise his character in either the end of this season or the big next season of Supernatural. They just got greenlit for season 15, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So I'm really wondering if he's going to make it out of this second half of the season alive. I don't,
If you kill his character off because you've been killing all the other characters off, then you might as well not have a Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is not The Walking Dead without Negan now. And I think that's exactly where they were going with this. You got Daryl, and of course we talked about it the other day with Michonne. She's on her way out.
Yeah, that was just revealed within this last week that she's going to be exiting the series as of next season. So, or sometime during next season. Next season's going to be her last.
Yeah, so it's just wow. I kind of had the feeling that I know how she's going to go out, and she's taken the role of Andrea in the comic books. And for those who read the comics, well, I'm not going to spoil it right now because I can't guarantee it's actually going to happen. But if it does, it does. And you'll feel bad that it even happened, and it'll probably make you not want to watch it. So, yeah.
Well, there's plenty of things that have happened the last few seasons that have really driven people away because of what's happened. You know, starting with the deaths of Abraham and Glenn. You know, my wife almost stopped watching that. That was tough.
Yeah, I remember.
Part that I wanted to talk about with Negan on the outside, and they talked about this right towards the end of The Talking Dead, and I caught it, but I didn't know if what I thought it was correct, and they confirmed it in the Talking Dead. The scene where Negan fights off those first few walkers, gets water from the creek, and then gets sick.
Yeah.
Where he gets sick is the same spot where his original trailer was, and where he edited Abraham and Glenn. They did the camera view down on the whole area right at the bottom of the picture, and the rest of the scene was the surrounding area where he had everyone on their knees, that same area. And I was like, I as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, is that? And if you blinked, you missed it. They didn't stay on it a real long time. They just showed him kind of, cleaning himself up and then jumped to the next scene. But it was like, wow. So I'm glad they confirmed that, because that was really, really telling. Did you catch that?
No, actually, I did not. I'm going to have to watch the episode again just to get that nostalgic moment. Because
it's a nice little flashback, let me tell you.
Yeah, if I can go back to season 6 and early season 7, just to see that location that they filmed in again, that'd be great. I mean, I did see Negan drink the water and then throw up, but I did not realize where he was at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do the quick pan down on him and a look at the rest of the clearing. And it's a moment. It really is. It's like, whoa. So, yeah. And then him on the motorcycle. I mean, I usually review this stuff and I go step by step, but I'm kind of covering all the Negan stuff, and then I'll talk about a few other things before we wrap this up. Because I felt like Negan's section was like the biggest part of this whole episode, as far as like the really gripping stuff, the real emotional stuff.
Yeah.
He gets his motorcycle out of what looks like a hiding at some storage room at the sanctuary, where there was also some food that the rats had gotten into, and he's on the road, but he doesn't get too far. But far, I mean, obviously tough. All of a sudden, we see a pan down the road, and feet of Judith. He runs into her again. She fires down the road and it's out the bike, and he wipes out. And he doesn't die, but he's banged up a little. And she warned him when she let him escape. She's like, if I find you again, I'm gonna kill you. So I was like, oh, this is it. He's gonna have one episode in this season, and he's cashed. She didn't kill him. Were you a little surprised?
Yeah, like I said, there's that bond. I don't think she wants to kill him. I think there's a reason why they're trying to keep him alive for as long as possible. Trying to think back on this, well, there's really nothing to think back on because this happened just tonight. She's like, if I see you again, I'll shoot you. It doesn't mean she's going to hit you. But
did she miss on purpose?
She shot the ground. She hit the ground from what we saw. There was no secondary fire, nothing like that. So maybe she's having second thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, and then she tells him, she's like, there's a lot of people out looking for you right now. And he just basically, he doesn't try to outsmart her. He just comes with her willingly. So, I mean, and that was honestly a real head scratcher. I was like, I couldn't believe she let him live. And seeing Negan in a new light was real. Hey, where's Negan and what have you done with him kind of thing,
Yeah, this is a kinder, gentler Negan that I've been looking forward to, but it's not going to last that long. Because sooner or later he's got to meet up with another group of people, and I'll just keep it at that. Don't worry, it's not another Saviors or anything like that, but
okay. Yeah, not
what's going to lead to future wars.
Okay. Well, I'm sure he's going to have some kind of encounters with the Whisperers. I've seen covers of the comic book. Yeah. So, but anyways, so there's all that. Let's see what else is in my notes here. The escape from the graveyard, the first scene, very, very creepy. The scene on, let's see, quick going. The covered bridge. The trap that Michonne, Daryl, and the others set for the walkers / whisperers. What did you and I happened to see that preview scene just this afternoon. I happened to find it by luck. I didn't know that it was out there yet. I watched it and I was like, oh, and then watching it live was like, I was like, yeah. And what did you think about that covered bridge scene and then the reveal of Lydia?
When they were at that bridge and Daryl was shooting arrows at the walkers, I was like, all right, something's up. I was like, I kind of had a feeling there was some whispers in that group or that pack. He shoots the first walker, the walker's like, he no-sells it, like nothing ever happened. But the second one takes it and he gets him right between the legs, and next thing you know, the walkers are having a chow-down fest on a whisper. But when they killed what was left of the whispers, at least of that group, and then they unmasked Lydia, I was like, yes, kind of like how they did in the comic books. Except in the comics, they were riding on horses in what was it? They were in an overpass when they captured her. So things are kind of different. I guess because of the location they're in, somewhere in Georgia, um, versus where they're supposed to be at in Washington D.C. There's a whole lot of environment changes, but everything is going according to plan, and from a comic book stance. But capturing Lydia
Oh,
was probably one of the coolest things ever.
So in this part of the comic book, in this scenario with the Whisperers, they're actually closer to DC.
Well, they're in Virginia, DC area.
Okay.
Yeah, because DC is like not even a half an hour away from Alexandria, Virginia. So it's like,
oh wow.
But everything's being taped in the state of Georgia. So you gotta improvise on what they're trying to do. Everything's a backroad story. You don't have any.
Yeah, true.
There's no highway story whatsoever. But yeah, capturing her was probably one of the coolest things they could have done. And of course, Daryl interrogating her inside the cell was pretty cool as well. But Henry, what is up with Henry? He's supposed to be like the new Carl.
Yeah, he's getting to know Lydia. Like, I don't think he's very what's the word I'm looking
affectionate, for? Passionate.
What's that?
Affectionate, compassionate. He's got a thing for her.
Yeah, he's not used to dealing with the evils of the outside world. He's, has no clue. I mean, he's used to trusting everyone behind walls. And he's not used to people lying to him, or deceiving him. So yeah. And as soon as Daryl, catches a whiff of them just, chat, throws him outside. He's like, all right, you're done. Because obviously he gave way too much away to Lydia.
Yeah.
I think she's put on a damn good act.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with Lydia. I don't know how far they go into detail in the comics because or on the TV show versus the comics, because in the comics you can be as graphic as you want without breaking any boundaries. On TV you can't do it due to a sensitive audience. And she was basically raped by the group of the Whisperers, which is why she's so erratic.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So for those who don't know about that, yeah, there's a reason why she freaked out, had her anxiety attack while Daryl was, snatching her up and ready to bash her brains
in. I wonder if they are going to reveal any of that, because that's pretty. It's one thing to show zombie gore and stuff like that, but when you start hitting sensitive, it's like rape and stuff like that, I really wonder how much they're going to reveal.
Well, do you remember what was it when the governor had he set up that little cell that he wanted Michonne back in season 3? It was that little back room in a warehouse or whatever. And he had all those tools and everything. Well, in the comic book, the governor was a rapist. And he did it to Michonne. And what was supposed to happen to her on TV never happened because of FCC ratings. It would not get a green light for the governor to do what he wanted to do to Michonne because of what she did to his daughter in his right eye.
And I think they hinted at it, except they showed him doing some stuff with Maggie.
Yeah, there was that, and not only that, him handcuffing Andrea to that barber chair, I guess it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. When he locked her in the room with
With
his
Milton.
old right hand.
Yeah, Milton.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I remember him, man. He was a great actor.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Maggie, um, I want to congratulate her. And we saw the commercial a couple of
Yes,
times during the show. New show on ABC starting February 27th. Lauren Cohen stars in the show called Whiskey Cavalier. That looks pretty exciting. Looks kind of like James Bond type of.
or Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah, there's that scenario. I didn't think about that. I was thinking more just kind of like espionage, kind of international, CIA cahoots kind of stuff. Um, I also saw a commercial, missed it, and I saw the title of it, Nosferatu.
That I did not see.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I don't think it's based on the vampire. It might be loosely based on the vampire movie. The scenario, I was trying to do some research on it. I think the scenario is different. I think it's something about a guy, loner on the road on a motorcycle, and he kills people because the motorcycle runs on people's souls or something to that aspect. I guess it's based on a novel. And I was like, oh, that's kind of different. So, but yeah, that's starting in another, I think, couple months on AMC, like springtime. They might have that air um, to premiere with Fear the Walking Dead. That's a guess, but it's in a couple months or something.
Yeah, speaking of Fear the Walking Dead, I kind of want to see that now with Dwight being on the show.
Yeah, I just saw that. They just released it was a promo pic of him being a part of season 5
Season
of
5.
Fear. Interesting because I didn't even know if there was going to be a season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead. And I actually really started to enjoy that almost more than the regular show. Because they're supposed to, at least it sounded like Morgan, see, there you go, forgetting names. Morgan was supposed to be on his way with his crew back to trying to get back to Rick. And I don't know if I don't think they're going to find Rick, but he's trying to get back to Alexandria, but I don't know if that's going to happen now.
Yeah, I don't know. Sooner or later, I think season 5 could be it for Fear, and everyone from season 5 will end up on season 9. What is it? Season 9, season 10. So that's the only thing I could think of. Whoever survives season 5 will end up on Fear or the actual Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
We shall see in several weeks. But yeah, a couple other pinpoints here before we wrap this up. Rosita is preggo. And there's a whole lot of awkwardness surrounding that because the doc is the father. That's I can't think of his name.
Wait, the doc?
Yeah, the new doctor in the group at the Hilltop.
Oh, Sadiq.
Thank you. Looks like he's the father, but right before we we got that surprise, we got Eugene, an injured Eugene, in the doc's office, practically, I don't want to say proposing, but for lack of better words, professing his to Rosita, and she just gets like really shook up, like, no, I'm not doing the room. And then she gets sick outside, and then Sadiq comes up behind her, and yeah. And well, Eugene, him talking about her being pregnant. So, I mean, Eugene's really changed over the last 6 years. I think he's, we saw in the first half of the season, or the last few episodes leading up to the break, that he's changed a lot. He's really gotten a tough side. But it's going to be really interesting to see how he reacts to, for lack of better words, a rejection from Rosita. Is he going to do something to the doc? Is he going to do something to her? I really can't picture him doing that, but I don't know. I got a bad feeling. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he'll move on from this. He'll run into somebody new, somebody with the same intelligence level as him, and he'll fall in love with her, or find someone that's bossier than she is.
Someone to throw him around a little?
Just a bit. Because from what I caught on to him, he likes being dominated. And not in the worst way.
Eugene is one of those. Eugene is one of those guys where just as soon as you think you know him, he'll do something, and it's like, whoa. Maybe I don't know him. But everybody's changed a lot over the course of 6 years, so we're kind of getting to know over again for the first time for some of these guys, So
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting second half to season 9. Anything else you want to touch on?
I don't think there's anything else to cover for tonight, except for look forward to next week to see what they have to put on the table again. Because thank you, Angela Kang. That's all I can really say for bringing the show back to where it needs to be. It's not fully comic book worthy, but it's a big improvement over what's been done over the last several years. So thank you for that, and look forward to seeing next week's episode.
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot this. I just wanted a quick touch on this. I mean, there's not too much to talk about it. We get the quick introduction at the very end of the episode of what looks like Alpha.
Yeah.
Confronting
Daryl,
Alden and Luke.
Oh, that's right. With the shotgun.
Alden and Luke. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. They're out in the woods. They were led into a trap because they saw arrows, and they followed arrows, and the arrow almost led to their death.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see this the next part of this scene next week. Wild episode between the group getting back to Hilltop, bringing Jesus back to, bury him, and then the whole Negan escaping back to his home sweet home, and then running into Judith again. I mean, what a crazy full circle this episode really took. But hey, man, I want to thank you again for joining me.
Hey, always a pleasure, man.
I almost forgot I was on tonight. I was going to watch some wrestling, and I was like, oh, shoot, no, Walking Dead's tonight. We need to cover this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been busy streaming games that as soon as I saw what time it was, I stopped my stream just so I can end up watching The Walking Dead and talking about it later on.
There you go. Awesome, man. Well, hey, man, the best of luck to you and your new endeavors on Twitch. I'm gonna hop over there sometime in the soon and near future and see what that's all about. Because right now the only thing I really do over there is watching Impact Wrestling. So yeah, can't wait to see what you got going on over there, and I hope it's all successful for you, dude.
Thank you, appreciate it a lot, man.
So, and that's going to do it for this review of this week's The Return of the Walking Dead, the second half of season 9 kicking off. And yeah, it's going to be a hell of a season. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for, I don't know what the hell we're doing tomorrow. Oh, we'll get back in the swing of things, doing some hashtag MLW Mondays. We'll do some catching up from Super Fight in the last few weeks that I haven't been talking about. So we'll see you tomorrow night for that. Have a good one.
Peace out.